Hello, my name is Chelmer Gambler, and I'm from the Navajo Reservation.
Hi, I'm Larry Bunch. I'm from the Maidu Indian tribe of Northern California. We were originally called the Digger Indians, which were all over Northern California digging for roots and collecting berries, and we was around the rivers a lot getting the fish. Salmon, mostly salmon.
Today I am part of the Navajo Nation tribe, I guess you can say. My clans are Tutchini, which is red streak running in the water, Born for Twitachini, which is bitter water, and my paternal and maternal grandparents' clans are Red Bottom, which also translates into Glasche.
I was born 20 minutes outside, but I was raised in the Navajo Reservation. So, even on the reservation, we discriminated against some of our peers who are white.
Yeah, well, I was raised some on tribal land, and then some out in the regular with everyone else.
I grew up on and off the reservation, mostly on the reservation, and two different areas, kind of.
I attended high school outside the reservation, and our high school mascot was a panther.
We were called the Thunderbirds.
And was that on tribal lands or not?
No, that was down in the city.
So it was not tribal?
No, it was not in the tribal. We don't have no, our tribe don't have any schools. Well, I think they're just starting a new school, but that isn't off the ground yet.
Okay.
I went to two different schools. My main high school I went to was Red Mesa High School in Tisnos, Arizona. And Red Mesa, their mascot was the Redskins. And at my other school, at Great Hills Academy High School, which I graduated from, was the Knights.
So how was it like having your mascot as the Redskins?
Kind of really didn't say much because it's been there for so long. Nobody really says or criticizes that much because we are an all-native school, and pretty much there's hardly any diverse people other than natives.
So nobody dressed up?
Nobody dressed up. All of us were Navajo, so we don't align that. I guess we didn't really think too much about it, but kind of more we're Navajos. We're not gonna degrade ourselves to wearing a headdress. We're Navajos. Navajos don't wear headdresses.
No, we didn't. They were all animals. so it was an eagle, there was a horse, a Mustang, and we were the Panthers.
We had one team which was called the Braves.
There's this other school, it's in St. John's High School in St. John's, Arizona. Their mascot's the same as ours. When I was going to school at Red Mesa, there was Redskins. And the funny thing about it is the majority of the student body there is white.
I was just the same as anybody else who competed. I wasn't very school spirited, but it was all right.
Back then it was just a matter of just two schools, and you had your rivals and not, but it was no big deal. It didn't really matter whether they were called the Braves or we were the Thunderbirds. That didn't have no effect on us.
That was kind of like our rival school because the same mascot, and it was both red. Our school colors were both red and black and white, and so we always conflicted with each other.
So did any of them dress up?
Not that I've never seen any of them dress up.
Okay, that's good.
So they were just too busy trying to beat each other at sports and stuff.
With that, it just kind of depends on the name, because I've heard of the Redskins before, and for me, that's kind of offensive to me. It's kind of just saying white skin, you white skin, or like you black skin type of thing. It's just because I don't know. It's kind of, it feels like we're like a discriminatory. I don't know if that's a word, but that's a discrimination term. But you know, things such as Utes, you know, as a name of a tribe, you know, that I think that would be okay. But you know, something like Redskins is kind of probably taking a little bit too far for me. It does offend us when it does offend Native Americans. I mean, that you portray some of our sacred clothing and sacred ceremonies into public places, and you know, and like it's kind of like exploiting your diary or something. It's kind of like, you know, just saying, hey, look at this, you know, and something sacred to you,
So it's just
and
like
making fun of it, just being disrespectful and rude. You know, you're just in a Native American costume. It doesn't mean like you become a savage or something like that.
So how do you think we could fix like that idea that people have about Native Americans being savages?
I guess just with the education, you know, educating people about maybe even previous chiefs that we've had, you know, who weren't as savage-like as people perceive them, because, you know, there's a lot of, in my opinion, like a lot of the leaders that I looked up to were pretty much a lot of my ancestors, you know, and you know, the great stories that I've heard about my people, you know, it's a lot less savage-like.
I think it's fine. It brings attention to the Native Americans as long as they don't use them as like derogatory, which in a case what I'm talking about is like being called Redskins. That is pretty derogatory to us.
It depends on the mascot itself. For like the University of Utah Utes, and they don't use like their logo. It's not like anything somewhat degrading. It's just the feather and drum, you know. And I know some people like consider it very sacred, but at the same time, and then it's a sense of like honoring a group of people, but then at the same time, it's not degrading them, because you know it's just there, and there's no anything offensive about it. It's just to me, like the only thing that makes it somewhat offensive to people, it would be like people wearing headdresses at football games. Like the Washington Redskins, I would take that offensive because it's has different meanings to different people, and they're not all good meanings, they're all negative.
Probably using like a tribal name type of thing, using appropriate names probably would be a better way. I don't know, probably use like suggestions, like a actual native word within the names. Have the school educate, you know, have like a mural or something of a Native American or something, you know, having a saying of a Native American chief, you know, exploiting our values, exploiting our good teachings.
You could call them just the Indians would be just fine, or you know, by a tribe's name would be more political.
I guess you could be more specific, like the University of Utah Utes, how they're specific with the tribes, but like Redskins, totally no. It's like horrible. Like if you're gonna educate people, you might like understand it, but like it's just, you know, there's so many people that are gonna think some kind of negative thoughts because history is not taught right in schools, especially in high school. History books, the mainstream history is horrible. Okay? They don't even talk about it.
I have this voodoo thing in Native Americans where they're called Yanagloshis. So instead of us turning into, no, actually, I think instead of us turning into werewolves, we turn into these like we're called skinwalkers, and we have stories, a lot of stories of witchcraft. But you know, that Twilight series probably was because she heard of some type of Yanagoshi or skinwalker story. So some of the stereotypes that I see occasionally is, you know, that we run around a fire and go ooh all the time, and you know, those are some of the stereotypes that I see. But in, you know, growing up on the reservation, we usually don't do that. You know, and there's just different rituals and all that stuff and ceremonies that we have. But you know, we just don't dance around the fire. In my community, like all the parents, like it was their goal to get us outside the reservation, the schools outside, because they had, I guess, more opportunities. You know, for me, like, because I went up to Coconino High School in Flagstaff, Arizona, like, I had a counselor who knew a lot of scholarships that I could apply to, and she knew a lot of people outside of the reservation as well. And so I got in contact. I got the networks, I guess, to get me here to University of Utah. I don't know if it was gonna be like that if I was a native or in the high school in the reservation, but I never really went to that, because in my little community, what it was perceived is that the high school in our community was just for those who couldn't make it outside the reservation. They were all the ones who were troublemakers. They were the ones who did the bad things. The school within the reservation, that's the school nobody really wanted to go to. You know, we're just normal people, just like everybody else, so